Hi everyone. I welcome you all to the session BizTalk360 V10, not just a facelift. I'm proud to announce our CEO Saravana Kumar, the creator of BizTalk360 and the founder of the company behind it. The BizTalk360 product exists for 10 years now, and the product team has worked hard for over a year on a complete revamp of the product. In this session, Saravana gives you the highlights of the brand new version of the product. A warm welcome, Saravana Kumar, for this session. Saravana, over to you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mohan and Meghla. I'm really excited to be here, and for every year I almost presented since first integrate. I always presented a session on BizTalk 360. That's not just repeating the same thing year on year. Every year we always make sure there is a reasonable amount of enhancements and improvements we have bundled together and brought it to the product. I think before I go into the session into the detail, I'd like to ask you a couple of questions. The first question is, how many of you are still using BizTalk Server, and how many of you think you are going to use BizTalk Server for the next 5 or 10 years? So if your answer is yes, I'll appreciate if you can just put it on the chat or chat like a yes. That will be brilliant. So we know exactly how many people are really using BizTalk Server. And the second, I know a lot of customers out there using BizTalk 360. Some of you might be delighted. Some of you already know what's going on, but I'm sure you'll be delighted to see what we are about to show in this session. Just a quick intro about myself. I'm Saravana Kumar. I'm the founder of BizTalk 360, and now we have branded the company as Covey.co. After 2016, we started exploring a few more products, and as part of that, we did this rebranding a couple of years ago just to align the company with a multi-product company. So pretty much, I'm coming from a technical background. I used to be a hardcore BizTalk Server consultant for a very long time before starting the company. So nearly 25 years experience in the overall IT. I started my career back in 96, 97, and pretty much from 2000 onwards. Most of my experience is in integration space and predominantly BizTalk Server, and now a little bit on the Azure and cloud related stuff. So we have 4 different products in the company, and then we also acquired Cerebrata, which is an Azure developer focused product. BizTalk 360 and Serverless 360 and Atomic Scope are integration focused products, and Document 360 is a completely out of the blue product. It's a self-service knowledge base. It helps customers to build knowledge bases for themselves or for their customers. I'm also a Microsoft MVP for nearly 15 years now, since 2007. I'm continuously holding that position. So I'm really grateful for Microsoft and the community, the help I'm getting from the MVP community. So a lot of things what we have done is because of the community. And Integrate, I already mentioned in the keynote before on the welcome note, the organizer of Integrate and how it all started and how the platform is helping a lot of folks on the integration community. I think today's session is all about BizTalk 360 V10, what we have done in the version 10 of the product. But before going into the detail, I would like to spend some time just to give a very quick overview of BizTalk 360. I know there may be a lot of new people watching the session and probably don't know what BizTalk 360 is. I want to give a quick overview. In fact, I don't want to spend too much time on the entire slide. I'll try to wrap it up as soon as possible. I wanted to show the real product. So some of the challenges what typical Microsoft BizTalk Server customers face today, or even for the past 10 years, is mainly around when it comes to the day-to-day operations and support. So you build your solution, you deploy it into your environment, and from that point onwards that's where the life of the operation and support starts. And right now, the tooling what you have at the moment is just a BizTalk admin console, and a bunch of Windows tools is what you rely on to support it on a day-to-day basis. And some of the common problems what we have seen is, if you wanted to support your BizTalk solution, you typically need a skilled BizTalk people. And that is a bit of a challenge. It was challenged before, and now I feel it's getting even more challenging to find good BizTalk people. I think there are a lot the people who are jumping and learning BizTalk, newcomers are reducing day by day. At the same time, old people who are in BizTalk also, like, they're migrating into either Azure or even to other integration platforms as well. So now we feel, the need for BizTalk 360 is actually increasing more and more, because BizTalk 360 helps you to run and operate and support your BizTalk and BizTalk applications in a seamless way. That is actually the ultimate core value proposition of BizTalk 360. In order to do that, it comes down to security and auditing. Like right now, the BizTalk admin console is basically all or nothing kind of environment. Once somebody got access to it, anybody can do anything. But BizTalk 360 comes with a very rich security and auditing capabilities. You can actually restrict who got access to the environment. Maybe you have 50 applications deployed in your BizTalk environment. You can restrict, a certain department got access to only 5 applications. Maybe certain individuals got access to only 2-3 applications, etc. It comes with a granular level of security, and also things like what they can and cannot do in the environment. You can pretty much control everything. And also, on top of that, everything is audited. So everything you do is basically audited in BizTalk 360, which is essential for any enterprise solution. And lack of productivity tools, I mentioned, you run BizTalk at the moment with BizTalk admin console and a bunch of productivity tools, standard Windows tools like Event Viewer, Perfmon, the performance and BizTalk Health Monitor, etc. But we bundled all of them together so that it makes it easy for you to, have one tool to do everything. And monitoring and notification is another big thing. Like, the only solution you have is SCOM, and again, SCOM is not been updated for at least 10 years now. So when it comes to BizTalk Server, we have the most extensive monitoring capability in the market. So we pretty much cover everything, the 10 years of investment. So that's what you see. And finally, the analytics and reporting. We give a better visualization of what's going on in your environment. You get a better tooling and graphs everything to understand how your environment is performing. So these are all some of the core building blocks of BizTalk 360 and challenges in BizTalk 3, the general marks of BizTalk Server, and what we're addressing with BizTalk 360. And as I mentioned before, today, if you want to support your BizTalk environment, you need to have at least 7 or 8 different tools. Where you need SQL Management Studio, BAM portal, ESB portal, monitoring consoles, and it's very difficult. You can imagine like how you are going to train somebody to understand all these products. And even if you have skilled people, they're losing a lot of productivity time to switch between all these things to understand or run your day-to-day BizTalk operations. And that's exactly what we do with BizTalk 360. Pretty much everything, like our ESB portal, EDI portal, BAM portal, health monitor, all the very rich monitoring, analytics, everything inbuilt into the product. So it makes it super easy for somebody to train, and also we design things like inbuilt knowledge bases to help your support people to understand what's going on, and if there is a ongoing support, you can document all those knowledge, and then you can actually easily access within the portal itself. So it's basically, we call it almost like a Swiss Army knife for BizTalk Server. It brings everything into this one single platform, so it makes pretty easy, productive, as well as bringing on people on board is easy, and you probably don't need like a really skilled BizTalk people to support. You probably can train somebody with a .NET or a general Microsoft stack, technology stack skill set. You should be able to train them to support your BizTalk environment. So this is an important slide for us, just to show the amount of investment that's gone into the product. So the original V1 of the product was done all the way back in 2011. It's actually our 10th year. This June, in fact, like May, June is when the company was started back in 2011. It's exactly 10th year for us. So it's a big milestone, like you probably know, like for a company to sustain that long, it needs to do something right. And, we thank all of our customers. We got over 600 enterprise customers using the product, pretty much a lot of Fortune 100 companies and a lot of big names using the product. So this is how, the last 10 years, we have continuously enhanced the product. So we typically do like 3 releases at least in a given year. Like every quarter, we try to bundle a bunch of features and enhancement. And in the past 10 years, we also done 2 major upgrades to the product. Initially, the product was built using a technology called Silverlight, and Microsoft discontinued the product, and we had to revamp everything in HTML5. That was back in 2015, I believe. And then I think it's 2013 version 6. Up to version 6 was Silverlight, and then after that it's HTML5. And version 8 is another major milestone. Like we revamped the entire user interface completely in version 8. That's in 2017. And the next major upgrade is what I'm going to see today, going to show you today is version 10 in 2021. So approximately every 3 to 4 years once we do this major update. And also it's interesting, like, a lot of people, there was a question about, what we should do with the product. It's the whole story about BizTalk is dead kind of story is what we are hearing right from 2008 or 9 onwards, but it's still surviving. And there is nothing wrong. There's a lot of modernization coming, and Azure there's a lot of good stuff happening in Azure in the integration space. But at the same time, we strongly believe, like, there's a lot of investment that's gone into BizTalk Server over the last 20 years. And even if companies are taking active steps to, address and move to the cloud in the future, it's going to take some time. We believe in at least next, for 10 years at least, there will be like BizTalk, and we are still selling new license of BizTalk 360 continuously. That means people are, still buying, and there is still attraction in the market for using BizTalk Server. So that's when we decided, like, what are we going to do with BizTalk 360? This is at the end of 2019. Like, when this question came, we decided, how can we support this product for the next 10 years? So what happened over the 10-year period was, we used different technology stack. We used, like a different JavaScript libraries, and some of our services are still the old SOAP and XML-based services, internal services. So we decided, if you want to support the product for next 10 years, we need to move on to a much more solid platform, a modernized platform, and align everything so that we can easily manage and do it. So hence, it took us nearly, like I'll say 15 months approximately, right from inception to today. We invested about 15, 16 months worth of time in building version 10. It's completely revamped. It's not like a patchwork. We did a complete rewrite of the BizTalk 360, the front end, and some of the back end stuff are all migrated and to modern stack. So I'm really excited to show BizTalk 360 version 10. As I mentioned, these are some of the top reasons for version 10, modernizing the entire technology stack. This is a BizTalk 360 stack. We modernized everything. So we use a modern Angular and then some of the cool stuff to make the app look pretty sleek. Features and enhancement. This is another thing. We didn't really, shifted everything, whatever it was looking in the previous version, exactly to the new version, like a new UI. Basically, we revamped every single feature. We have got a lot of feedback from the customers in the past. We took all of them. For example, data monitoring, like we rewritten the entire data monitoring. Like we used to have like calendars and different kind of interfaces, but everything is rewritten now. The entire user experience across the board is different. You will see, like, if you have used BizTalk 360 in the past, you'll see it like it's a completely smoother and nicer experience now. And finally, performance and usability improvements are all part of it. Like we optimized wherever possible. And also, this is something I want to highlight. There's 4 reasons why you should consider using BizTalk 360. If you're still a BizTalk Server customers, I feel, you should really use BizTalk 360. I'm not saying just because, as a vendor, but, the 10 years of investment will give you a lot of, ROI on your investment, and it might streamline a lot of things. And the pattern we typically see is whenever, the people are migrating from their older version to newer version of BizTalk, that is when they decide to go for BizTalk 360. That's also one of the reasons why we are releasing that book, Migrating to BizTalk Server 2020, because we feel, that is the kind of audience who are interested in buying BizTalk 360, and we wanted to help them out. And, that is a pattern. If you are, that may be the right point for people to consider using BizTalk 360. And just to highlight why, it's the most advanced monitoring product on the market. It will increase your ROI, and because BizTalk Server is an expensive product, you invested and it's a lot of resources to support it. You can maximize that ROI by using BizTalk 360. And also, as I mentioned, the skill gap, we need to accept it. The number of people who are aware of BizTalk Server, experts are getting less day by day. And you need to compensate that loss by having a better product to support it in a seamless way. That's exactly what BizTalk 360 does. And we are only the company, as far as we know, we are the only company investing in BizTalk Server tools. Everybody kind of moved on, or the interest have changed, but we still believe, at least for next 10 years, the BizTalk Server will be there, and the legacy of large customers using BizTalk Server, and we wanted to help them out, and that is where we are investing. Okay, from this point, I'll just jump on to the product because I don't want to spend too much time on these slides. It's maybe later when we share the slides, you will get all these points. So I want to go back to the product itself. So this is what BizTalk 360 v10. So people from the let me maximize it. Yeah, this is some slide at the back. Okay. So this is what BizTalk 360 v10 looks like. People who are using existing BizTalk 360, they might recognize a lot of changes on the initial launch of the UI itself. So this is basically what you're seeing here is BizTalk 360 supports managing multiple environments from a single place. That is another value addition. If you have production, QA, performance, and UAT, and all those kind of environments, you can manage all of them in a single place. And they also give access to people, and all they need to do is remember one single URL, and from there they can manage all of their environments within your organization. And we also made some of the stuff like you can reorganize the position if you want to. This is all little things, but this is what makes it seamless, right? When the product is super mature, in terms of adding value, it's all about making it sleek and it's making it usable. That's what we have done. A lot of small indicators like what is your monitoring configuration and the suspended instances, things like that. So let me get into the manage environment. So this is another a completely revamped user interface, and you can see it all looks much more cleaner and nicer. So what you're seeing here is the dashboard view. You all need to trust us. This is actually, you're managing your BizTalk server environment. The old, it's a solid product, but in order for you to manage it nicely, that is something what we are missing, and that's the gap what BizTalk 360 is filling. The dashboard, basically, you can have multiple of them. So this is one sample dashboard. So you can actually say, maybe ESB dashboard. If you're using ESB, you can have a dashboard for it. Maybe there is a separate dashboard for level 1 support people. Like if you have a different level of people supporting, you might need to have different kind of metrics you want to show to them. You can actually choose and show them. You can creating a dashboard is pretty easy. You can just say something like integrate demo, and I can say maybe add some default widgets to it and then save. So you can see this is I just created a quick dashboard, and from here you can add. You can see there's a lot of widgets we ship out of the box. So you can do things like I wanted to see the monitoring aspect, or I need to remove it. I need to add data monitoring stuff. Maybe whatever I want, I can add and remove stuff. Maybe you can see you can quickly add whatever you want. We also support custom widget as well. So maybe you wanted to pull some data from your backend stuff, like maybe a CRM, or maybe from your SQL Server and things like that. You can actually build your own custom widget. It's fairly easy to do it, and you can also do the customization, like you can maybe change the size and move them around and all those kind of things. So it's a very powerful dashboard, and it helps you to do multiple things at the same time. Okay, so when it comes to BizTalk services, we have structured it into you can manage all of your BizTalk acts here. Go to applications, and then you can see all your BizTalk applications, and you can maybe you can drill down into one of them, and you can see all those standard visual locations and send boards and things like that. And you'll see a lot of things like, the little pieces here and there guiding you in terms of what is the health of your system. You can, start and stop stuff. Maybe, I'll stop this thing. So one of the advantages is, as I mentioned at the beginning, is auditing capabilities. So like whatever you do in BizTalk 360 is audited. So if you've done the similar stuff in the admin console, you probably don't know this is a really serious thing what I've done. Maybe it is picking a file from FTP location or a file location. And if somebody has stopped it, there's no way you can actually figure out. But so here you have auditing and then, BizTalk activities. You should be able to see everything like, this is what I did just now. And all those activities are audited. Again, when, every screen is basically like a rewritten. So this screen, so you'll see all these new filter options available. And the entire user interface is much more modernized and sleek. So let's go back to the operation side. And if you look at, the message box queries, it's a standard message box queries. You can, access all of them within the portal itself. You can run the queries. You can see the suspended instances. You can see those, properties and download messages and pretty much, what you expect to do on a BizTalk admin console. It's all available on the web-based interface. And okay, so one major point if you are new to the BizTalk 360 is basically, there is no web-based console that comes along with BizTalk Server. And that is another gap what we fill, like a complete web-based access to your BizTalk environment. I'd like to show you more on the tracking queries. We have something interesting. So let me, add a filter and say like, let service state is completed. If I run this one, so this is, all your tracked service instances that are completed. So let me pick up, let's say I'm going to pick this one. This is the graphical message flow capabilities of BizTalk 360. So this is actually, something not available in the standard BizTalk admin console. What we have done is, we have all the data is available on the tracking database. So we pulled it and then we stitched them together. So we present it in a really nice graphical way so people can understand how things are working. So in this case, all these links are actually clickable. So when I click on this one, it just identifies, okay, there is a, from receive port, it went to an orchestration and then clicked on all these different buttons and you know exactly what's happening to those messages. So this is actually your real flow. Like, this is some instances of it has gone through the system. And you can actually, click on each one of them and you can each point, you can see all those properties and context and what is the exact context of each one point. Like, it's all available right on the, for you to view it. BAM is another thing, probably like the business activity monitoring. So you need to, it's a completely new portal. People who have worked with BAM might have, realized, even setting up a BAM portal is a lot of effort because it's a completely new portal and you set it up and set security and everything is, almost like a new app on its own. But that is inbuilt into BizTalk 360. So we show you all the views. You can actually, navigate through the views and you can run the query and, select all the fields what you want. And you can get to the data immediately, all within the same portal. And also you can see the, what is the permission on that particular views and what is the active time window, all those kind of things. It's accessible. So you really don't need to go to any, the external BAM portal. In a similar way, where if your people are using ESB portal quite a bit, like, if you're using ESB exception management portal, that is again another portal, and again, that is not fully supported, not even supported by Microsoft. It's supposed to be like just a sample portal that came along with the ESB framework. The ESB framework is fully supported and it's a pretty matured offering, but the portal to view those ESB messages, actually, it's not like a full-blown offering. It actually it comes as a sample. So here, you can actually see all those ESB messages and you can download them, and you can view all this. Why the fault? What is the reason for fault? And all those things are available. I think one thing I really want to highlight is you can see every single screen has been completely revamped and redesigned. Business Rules Composer is another thing. We brought the entire Business Rules Composer into web-based interface. So if you are using a VRE, you can actually, you can do dynamically as well. You can actually change the rules and deploy them instantly using the BizTalk 360. Because typically what happens is, you need a developer to do the VRE using the VRE standard VRE composer, and you need to have like a full deployment cycle to change any rules dynamically. But here we make it seamless to do it. Tracking manager is another thing. So in a single place, you'll be able to see what is the level of tracking you have enabled, and you can also change it at a single place as well. If you want to turn on and off, you can do it pretty easily if you go inside. So you go into a bit more detail of the message bodies and message properties, etc. So again, it's basically insisting on the point. It's all about productivity and making it seamless, and how can we give a better service to your operations people. And we also have some of the Azure services as well. This is if you are a BizTalk customer, predominantly BizTalk customer, but you have some of the logic apps which are tightly integrated with your, like a BizTalk. You got on-premise and Azure kind of hybrid setup. So you can actually, see some of the logic apps. You need to associate service principal in the settings. And once you associate it, we will pull those information, and you can see all the details about that logic app runs and success and failure and those kind of things. So you can, if you're more like a hybrid shop where 95% of your stuff is still in BizTalk, but you're exploring some of the cloud stuff. We also do some stuff with the service bus as well. But when it comes to monitoring, you can actually monitor the service bus queues similar to how you will monitor your MSN queue, IBM queues, etc. On the infrastructure side, all this, like a BizTalk servers, you can manage them straight away. If it's a multi-server environment, you'll see a lot of all this BizTalk servers listed here, and it also lists certain things like whether you are using IaaS, because that is another challenge. Even if it's a small thing, you might have 4 BizTalk servers, 2 of them are using IaaS to get the HTTP traffic. You might need to, you probably won't know until you RTP into those servers. So here we provide all those details instantaneously, and we pull all those metrics like CPU, memory, etc. And then you can even event viewer. You can check the event viewer here. If your NT services, another thing, maybe sometimes you start and stop services in your BizTalk servers. So it's all possible within this single place. In a similar way, you can access SQL Server as well. The same concept. You can pull them, and then you can do that. And the SQL Server instances. So pretty much all the jobs and everything, whatever you need, it's available in a single place. So topology is interesting. I'm doing this demo from a single server BizTalk server environment. But if you have like a proper topology, like 4 BizTalk servers and 2 SQL servers or something like that, you will get a nice network diagram here and showing how they are all connected, and how you can actually understanding better about your entire BizTalk topology. So those are on the operation side of things, and if you probably would have guessed, if you're coming from a BizTalk background, there's a lot of stuff in there, and it helps you to manage it in a better way. Let me move on to the monitoring, which is another big part of the BizTalk 360. So you can see it's already pre-configured with all the alarms and triggers, etc. So in this environment, you can see there are a lot of things. Some of them are red, it's the SQL instance, maybe the SQL jobs are not configured correctly. You can actually, view it pretty quickly. And also you can see the entire BizTalk group dashboard as well. And we provide, some of the status, you can filter it, maybe, you can only see the applications, or you maybe want to see the servers and environments and stuff like that. And also you can even filter it. Maybe I really want to see, maybe only the errors and not the entire stuff. So these are all basically improvements what we have done based on the customer feedback, what we have received. How can we make it seamless? You can see, maybe I can select all, and then maybe I'll select everything. Then, we also got some little things like, we can go full screen mode. So there are a lot of customers who use big monitors to manage the entire BizTalk environment. So they put some dedicated monitors for them. This is helpful. And also it's a little thing, but, people prefer this as well, like, dark mode, so that, they don't want to It's a small thing, but like it just makes sense when you're using it on a daily basis. So the manage alarms, like you can manage all your alarms, like how it's all set up. And again, it's a lot of UI revamp. You got a list view and grid view and making it simple to understand. So those are little things what's been enhanced to the product. And when it comes to monitoring, you can pretty much monitor everything, like the entire applications. Like what is the state of the application, all the receive locations, send ports, or orchestrations, and what you typically expect from a monitoring product. And as I mentioned, like it covers the entire breadth of BizTalk Server. So it's very rare you'll say like we don't monitor anything. We even monitor some third-party adopters like end software adopters, and over the years, 10 years, we covered pretty much every single gap what you want in a product, and this is exactly what you're seeing here. Data monitoring. Is a unique concept. Is based on the data side of things. So basically, like what happens typically is you're expecting a volume of messages from your third parties, and if that volume is not met, you probably wanted to trigger an alert. Say for example, you have a daily. You are a bank and you're expecting a feed from your branches every day, and there is and if the feed is not there, didn't come. These kind of errors are very difficult to monitor using a standard monitoring products, because it's more like a messaging and desktop related. So in this case, because there's no error, it's something to do with the data. So you can easily monitor that, so that if you can say I'm expecting one file from this receive location every day, but if that particular receive location didn't turn up, you can actually trigger the alarm. You can also see, all the notification history and warnings and errors and alert history. Also wanted to show something on the global level. So we have, like a notification channels. So when it comes to notification, we support multiple channels. So you can actually email is a pretty standard, you get it. But on top of that, now we have enhanced it with you can get notified on Microsoft Teams. If you're using ServiceNow or any change request service management tools, we can actually trigger a ticket directly. Okay, this particular service is down. You get notified, and then you get a ticket created automatically. Same for Slack. I don't know whether people from Microsoft background use Slack, but some companies they do. So you can actually get notified on Slack. And also webhook is a very generic thing. You can call a webhook with a defined schema, so that basically you can do whatever action on the other side based on the alert. We even have people using it in some interesting way, like some CI/CD integration and stuff like that. And PowerShell is another thing. You can actually execute a PowerShell. If a trigger is activated, you can actually, get a piece of PowerShell get executed. We also brought things like business holidays. Maybe certain companies, they do not want to get alerted on holidays. So it could be weekends, or some, for example, UK holidays. It's fully customizable again. You can define what is your business calendar, and during an alarm, you can actually say ignore those business holidays during that time. The custom development, this is for widgets. As I mentioned, all those dashboard things. You can actually create widgets and then pull data from there. And the other important thing is we have complete API access for the entire BizTalk 360. So that also means you have good API access for some of your BizTalk stuff as well. So really consistent. For example, if I go to BizTalk group services, you can post it's all fully documented. You can pull in. This is another thing how people used it in some really clever way. They automatically create alarms whenever there's a deployment and things like that. So let's go to the home and back to the environment. The other thing I want to show quickly is the analytics part. So analytics is the third pillar of BizTalk 360. Operations is all about the support and all the productivity that comes along with it. Monitoring is, as the name suggests, you have complete monitoring. You don't want to drive your car without a dashboard. So that is a problem what we solve with monitoring. So you have important stuff running on your BizTalk environment. and monitoring helps you to keep an eye on what's going on and how to fix it. The analytics is all about, what's going on in your environment. In a similar way, like operation dashboard, you can also create a dashboard for analytics, this performance dashboard. So this is more on, what's going on in your system in terms of, performance and metrics and those kind of things. Throttling analyzer is one thing I really wanted to highlight. So people coming from a BizTalk background, they know throttling is there. It's a really cool feature that's available in BizTalk Server. One of the problem, what typically happens in integration product is you are sitting right in the middle, connected to all these legacy systems. Maybe you have powerful infrastructure on your BizTalk environment, but the underlying systems like a third party or the legacy systems may not be powerful enough. So when BizTalk detects the underlying system is slow and it's not responding fast enough, it tries to slow down itself, like it try to underperform so that you are not going to crash the legacy systems that are connected to BizTalk Server. It's an interesting concept. At the same time, it's pretty complicated stuff for people to understand. That's mainly because of the tooling. The only way you can understand whether your BizTalk environment is working fine or is under throttling condition is by monitoring lot of performance counters. Depending on what adapters you're using, what is your host configuration. It could be looking at 60 to 100 different performance counters is what you need to analyze to get it. And also somebody need to be experienced enough to understand, okay, what does this numbers mean? What is the rate throttling, memory throttling number, etc. So we made it really seamless. For example, there's a publish throttling and the delivery throttling, and we can quickly look at it. And we ran some sample data this morning to purposefully, created the throttling condition. So this is what you see. You can go anytime. You can, filter it based on whatever date range, and then you can see whether your environment is throttled or not. So this feature, I remember when I used to be a BizTalk consultant, if for us to get to this data, you need to spend at least a day to set it up, and even then you'll miss the historical data and you don't know what happened yesterday. So in this case, we continuously monitor and then we collect and then show you this data. And also this is very interactive. I can see why is this one green. And you can see here in this case, it's actually, process memory threshold is it's 3,500, but it tries to use 3,800 megabytes. So hence the system went into a throttling state for a 120 seconds duration. So this is super helpful. Imagine if you have a production environment and there is some, this is somebody complaining, the system is down and they're not, you can point out and say exactly what's happening. And also this graphs, these are different points, you can see this is actually a physical memory threshold. That's the previous one was a process memory threshold. And there's another line here. It's actually saying incoming rate and outgoing rate. It's actually, it's a rate override is another aspect. So it pretty much it remains for a short duration. So this is, it's really super helpful. And also we have a lot of reports as well. You can get the reports and you can download PDF and send it to whoever maybe your team or the boss or whatever required. So I think that's all. It's a very quick overview. I know I couldn't cover everything. But hopefully, you got an idea of, what's going on and, what value we are adding. So I'll go back to the slide deck, and probably it's in the slide deck is, just before going, I just want to show you this knowledge base. So this is, something, whenever, there's a problem, for example, if you look at this one, so the system cannot find the path specified. It could be a very common problem in your environment. So if that is happening, you can actually document this in like this, and you can also you can put some tagging basically. This is applicable to this particular environment, this service, this application, and this suspended the instance state. So what happens is when that person is actually diagnosing suspended instance, if it matches this condition, they will automatically see this knowledge base associated to that. So it basically helps you to, avoid diagnosing the same problems what you're aware of, and also, you keep building your knowledge base over a period of time. A lot of our customers got a really massive knowledge base, so that when somebody new comes into supporting it, automatically they are aware of all these things, existing solutions available, and it speeds up the entire thing. So I think that is all I want to show. And we are if you are interested, just drop us a note and we will get in touch with you. I want to quickly go back and I'll share the slide deck. Basically, this is some all the points are basically what we have done on each area, improvements and stuff like that. The UI UX improvements, and then this different pieces what we have done. So if you want to get access at the moment, what we are doing is the product is fully ready. Like, we are actually shipped it to some of the customers. We are doing it on a phased manner because we want to get some feedback and correct the minor little details here and there. But there are customers using it on production, and it's a production ready in terms of usage. So if you're interested, if you're a current customer and if you wanted to get BizTalk360 v10, please visit this link, and then you can request, and somebody will get you the copy. So I think there's a few minutes left, and I'll probably if you have any questions, I can answer. Yeah.
Hi, Saravana. So most of the questions have been answered already. So I have two questions there in the Q&A. So I will read out. So there is a question from Neville. So is there any plans in the roadmap for tracking a direction with Azure integration services, and to create a layer to bring all those tools from admin, configuration, deployment together to make them more accessible to the companies as a primary integration platform, like an off-the-shelf middleware or ESB?
Yeah, it's a good question, and I was also demonstrating, some of the work what you have done. We have some bits and pieces like logic apps and service bus queues. We need to look at, we are closely watching whether this is the right investment to do, because people coming from BizTalk background, it makes sense. You wanted to have like a single solution to do both the on-premise and the cloud. But we also need to be careful, what is the volume of people they are coming in this kind of a background, right? If that volume is low, then we need to be careful about our investment, because maybe a lot of people are just going, the newcomers might go straight into the Azure integration services and the cloud focus, and with all this new standard offering, that is maybe they might look at it. But this is definitely on our thinking, at least in the roadmap. How can we make it a bit more seamless? We probably won't have like a full-blown stuff, but definitely, wherever we think it's relevant, we will try to bring it in. Yeah.
Thank you, Saravana. Another question from Joju. So will Covey release a mobile app for serverless 360 and BizTalk 360?
BizTalk 360, probably not. The reason being, BizTalk 360 being an on-premise product, it is a challenge for you to get the data out, right? Like, it's not connected to the internet also, because a lot of our customers are pure on-premise, and those servers are not really accessible. So if that is the case, you don't have access to the data, and you cannot have a mobile device connecting to the system, right? So for BizTalk 360, I will probably firmly say there is no room, or we're not planning. But serverless 360, definitely, there is an opportunity, because people probably don't know what serverless 360 is. Tomorrow there is a session I'm presenting that. Again, we have made a lot of changes. It's a v2 of that serverless 360, completely revamped. So there is an opportunity for us to bring a mobile version. Yeah.
Thank you, Saravana. Yeah. So another question from anonymous user, when are you planning to stop supporting BizTalk 360 version 9?
Okay, that's an interesting question. We normally, keep supporting the older versions. This is not a mandatory update. We will be supporting the older version as well. I don't know the exact dates, but there is you don't need to panic and you don't need to move on. Like, it's a long time. We typically, leave it. We still support, except that the older Silverlight and HTML version, there's one or two customers still using that version 8 or something. So, I think we will support it. Yeah, we don't have any plan to deprecate it as of now. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's pretty much, Saravana. So there is no question at all. So we have answered probably all of the questions.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. I think we are spot on time. I guess I got a timer running and it says 10 seconds left. Thank you very much for all of you who attended this session. I know it's attending a third party product demo or is a different, and thank you very much for attending, and you all have a nice rest of the conference. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. So thank you again, Saravana, for the great session. So thank you everyone for all your time, and hope you all enjoyed and found BizTalk 360 is one-stop monitoring and operational tool for your BizTalk environment. Thank you, everyone. Yeah.
Thank you. Bye.
Covey.co